If you were a professional athlete, regardless of your sport, how would you envision your last appearance? For most of us, it would consist of going out on top, with a victory to be remembered for years to come. After 8 years of playing professional League of Legends in Korea, Khan was in prime position to live every athlete's dream. Of course, it wasn't going to be easy, as EDG, their opponent from the LPL in China, competed in lockstep with Damwon through the first 4 games of the 2021 World's Finals.
Friends, EDG will just put a stomp down on game number 4. Push us to Silver Scrapes, push us to that game 5.
In fact, EDG has the upper hand as they finish Baron and push their gold lead past 5,000. However, if you take a glance at the minimap in the bottom right corner, you'll notice that there's more action happening on the opposite side of the map. The tournament observers ended up missing the play that sealed the game, so we'll have to use the replay given to us shortly afterwards. For now, let's not spoil how Khan and Damwon brought this game back from the brink of defeat. There are a couple moments from the previous 4 games that need our attention, as different outcomes may have rendered a Game 5 completely unnecessary.
Absolutely fine, gets over that wall. No magic mantle helping him out just there.
And notice,
Game 1 seems to be the last place where a 5-game series would have flipped on its head. However, the dance around Baron as the contest surpassed 30 minutes opened the avenue for either team to take the first lead in the series. Damwon is starting the Baron after nearly securing a kill on Khan's counterpart in the top lane, Flandre. But the big purple worm's HP pool will not drop to a threatening level before the game-deciding fight breaks out.
Anyone down before Mako can bring them back to life. In goes JJ, they just explode. Showmaker, he is so important for their team fight, and he goes golden as well. He's got the Sterix, he's got the chrono shift.
This battle, unfortunately for Damwon, was never close, except for right here, where Beryl gets a knockup on 2 members of EDG, including, critically, their jungler, JJ. Khan is clearly looking to follow up with his ultimate, which requires airborne targets, as he turns toward the losing skirmish. If he had been able to re-enter the fight with his last breath, removing the enemy team's smite immediately makes EDG's next task of securing the Baron much harder, especially with his teammate Ghost playing Ziggs. More on him later. Ultimately, Khan will not get the chance to press R, as Scout roots him in place as Beryl's knockup comes through. Perhaps this doesn't change the EDG favored outcome of Game 1, but perhaps it does, and in a legacy-defining 5-game series, perhaps cannot be ignored.
on the windshield. That is a clean ace. That is a Baron.
Hey, what's that?
This game
Nothing, don't worry about it.
EDG have just
2 Damwon wins and games 2 and 3 later, we return to Baron's home in the Topside River, where mismanaged macro play leads the production team to cue Silver Scrapes to play during the next break. Only Khan is anywhere nearby as EDG shreds through the objective, and his team leaves him to the wolves. Canyon, the Damwon jungler, took the least optimal path to the objective that he desperately needed to arrive at quickly, and ran into a Zoe bubble. He's lucky that Scout was so close to him, as Zoe's Q damage ramps up the further it travels. Canyon's nap might have lasted longer than a couple seconds if he had caught a max range paddle star instead of a melee range one. Oh, little side note here, but keep in mind how Zoe works for the next game. Anyway, after donating an extra 300 gold along with EDG's free Baron, a small gold lead morphed into a substantial one. Just a couple minutes later, while EDG is still wearing purple, another Zoe bubble starts the snowball that ends the game. There was simply no way to fight through this one for Damwon, other than to pack up and prepare for Game 5. In Khan's case, his final professional game.
push us to Silver Scrapes. Push us to that game 5, Alice.
Now they both have a match point. We are going the whole distance. I don't think anyone was predicting 5 games to this series. I absolutely didn't, but I am so happy that we get to this moment.
Most people in the Western world are unfamiliar with mandatory conscription laws in South Korea. Across the heavily guarded DMZ, North Korean male citizens are forced to serve in the military for a decade or more. However, in South Korea, the mandatory terms regularly last upwards of 2 years. On the surface, that doesn't seem like it could end a career, merely putting a pause on it for a couple of seasons. But competitive league in Korea is exactly that. Competitive. Spend a year or two entirely away from the game, and it's near impossible to regain professional form against those who have practiced upwards of 6,000 hours while you were gone. Conscription has ended numerous careers of Korean professionals, and so far, Khan has not broken that trend. A chance to go out on top of the world, though, is a unique opportunity. Khan's final game will be on one of his signature carry picks, Graves. All of the pieces for a magical story have been laid out. A seasoned veteran playing his last game on a champion he has mastered, and his opposition has the upper hand in the dwindling moments. Let's go watch that replay.
They're trying everything they can think of. Oh, sneaky play here from Canyon. Maybe he can hide in the brush without being seen and surprise flash over the back.
Wait, 1 second. Look down at the items that Damwon has, specifically Ghost. Look, there's my thumbnail. Ghost is holding a stopwatch, which allows him to go invulnerable for 2.5 seconds. While you can't move during that time, this 650 gold item is potentially worth an entire game if used correctly. In the coming seconds, the perfect opportunity to turn the game around with this stopwatch becomes clear. Scout, again playing Zoe, lands a bubble on Ghost, who has 1.5 seconds to react before falling asleep. Scout is guaranteed to erase the Ziggs with 1 Q if he is given the opportunity, and he has already committed to making that play. Fortunately for Ghost, he has Khan here to back him up, and their mid laner Showmaker not far behind, to guarantee that Scout pays for his greedy play. As the Ziggs goes golden before he falls asleep, the door has opened for Damwon. Oh, Ghost. What have you done?
No way. EDG, they find him, they sniff him out. Oh, maybe they can pull up the split push.
Well, Ghost is headed towards the afterlife. I didn't even see that he was there, and Scout just pops him. As now Showmaker looks.
Scout burned his own stopwatch to no avail just seconds later as Showmaker arrives, but the damage had already been done. Had Ghost survived this combo, Damwon would have had the player advantage for a full minute. The game doesn't officially end here, but that only proves my point further. I think Vedius summarizes it way better than I did here.
Ghost has 20 seconds left. He has the ultimate available to him. Damwon needs that wave clear.
Damwon was clearly able to hold their base in an even 4v4, meaning that an extra player could push through EDG's base for a couple more towers, drawing a response from the enemy. Or they could all recall and have the upper hand in defending their own base, either forcing EDG out before they can even threaten the Nexus towers, or punish them for overstaying at a disadvantage. Gut-wrenchingly for Khan, something had to break. And it wasn't Ghost's stopwatch.
Lightning rushing his way out of this one, and now the Nexus is exposed. Damwon Kia are limping, and EDG have the man advantage.
Well, he did end up using it after all, but the spectators barely caught it as the cameras flipped to catch EDG celebrating their victory. Not all stories have a happy ending, as Damwon have just learned firsthand.
Combo breaker on Damwon's attempt for the back-to-back titles. So much prestige there. All the EDG had to do was break their world's curse as soon as they got